Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the White Lightning Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Wheeler. Welcome back, Peterson family. Welcome back. It's been a week. Had some tough watches for you guys.
Yep.
I'm just so upset. I just had to watch the Steelers get demolished. I am so sorry, but I'm not. But yeah, my Browns did good this weekend. We have a lot to talk about. My team, the Steelers, obviously, they got some ranting to do. We're going to talk about those two games. The Browns and Steelers play Monday night. We're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. And we're going to talk about our favorite games that happened in week one. And we're going to talk about our picks week two to wrap up the episode. So without further ado, no chit chat. Can we start off with the winner this weekend? We okay with that?
Yep.
Let's start off with the winner, man. Let's start off with the winner. So the Browns demolished the Bengals at home, 24-3. This is the first week one home opener win since 2004 for the Browns. Up to Sunday, we were 2-16-1 in week one over the past 20 years. So not to bring up that stat, but that was a good win for us. That was nice.
That's a crazy stat, actually.
It is a pretty crazy stat, but it's nice to just kind of not make that your identity. You know what I mean? And just kind of be who you are. But here's a couple crazy stats I pulled from the game before I get into my overall takeaways. So that was the best I've seen the defense look in a really long time. Really long time. We held Joe Burrow to his lowest career yards in a game with 82, his lowest career passer rating, and his lowest points scored as a team for his career. It was great. It was excellent. It was the best, again, I have seen that defense look in a really, really long time. The Bengals' leading receiver on Sunday was Jamar Chase with 39 yards. This is a guy that averages 100, 90, 90 to 100 yards. That's his average. We held him to 40. T. Higgins, probably the best second option in all of football, had 0 receptions, 0 yards, and 8 targets. Okay, that's incredibly impressive. And this was a mind-boggling stat, too. The Browns got pressure on Joe Burrow in about 1.95 seconds. In about 2 seconds, we got pressure to Joe Burrow. That's the 6th fastest time since they began tracking that in 2019. I thought that was pretty crazy. And it felt like that. It really felt like that. Those are some really cool stats from the defense. But here are my overall takeaways from the game. Not stat reading, just heart to heart. Again, I was blown away by the defense. And it was funny. I've seen this defense play good in the Joe Woods era. But you know how I feel about Joe Woods. That was kind of just like, okay, the talent showed up. Because I think Joe Woods is inept and not a good coach. Okay, the talent finally showed up today. Not only did I think the talent showed up on Sunday, but I thought it was calculated. I thought the play calling on defense was great. And you could just tell, yeah, this is coaching. I saw a great stat, too. Myles Garrett played linebacker. Myles Garrett played 21 snaps of linebacker on Sunday. He had 19 snaps at linebacker over the last 3 seasons. This is what good coaches do. You move your good players around. You give them different looks, and that's what Jim Schwartz did on Sunday. So that defense was awesome. For the offense, I'm going to be a little critical. Deshaun Watson did not look that good on Sunday. Okay, if I had to rate him and give him a grade, I'd give him about a C-. His first half was really bad. He had, I counted in the first half, 8 to 10 over and under throws. And I know the weather was bad. I will kind of give him that. But I don't think the weather had anything to do with the over and under throws. I just think it was just an overall bad throw. So second half, he played better. He had some good throws. I remember he had a throw to DPJ on the sideline. It was great. But the defense won the game on Sunday, not the offense. And the only time that the Browns scored, they were in Cincinnati Bengals territory. It was on the Cincy's 44 and the Cincy's 18 when we had our 2 touchdowns. So, listen, I'm not saying this win has an asterisk, obviously, but I'm just telling you what it is. That defense won that game. And, again, I have higher standards for my $46 million quarterback. Okay? If I'm paying you $46 million, I can't just say, oh, well, it's okay. We'll just run the ball and we'll let defense win. I have to have higher standards for you and for this Browns team. So it was a great week 1 win. It's a good way to start the year, but definitely room to improve. But way to come out and historically dominate a team that you've dominated over the past 4 years. I know you guys were watching the Steelers games, but what did you think of what you saw this week about the Browns?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, anybody. What do you think, Eric?
Uh, let's just say this. I was telling my buddies, I was like, dude, the Browns own the Bengals. Let's just be so serious. Yeah, but you could tell. I mean, I was watching the whole Pittsburgh game, but just looking back at it, you can tell like that defense just played with confidence. Like every single snap, man. I mean, I seen highlights of like Myles Garrett just. I mean, there was a point where he was doing like that basketball
Yes,
celebration.
he was practicing his dribble moves. Yes.
They just all looked like they were in a sync. Cornerbacks all over T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, just winning the one-on-one balls. And you just weren't seeing that with Joe Woods as coordinator. And like you said, I had no clue that they were putting Myles Garrett at linebacker. I mean, that's what you're going to do to win games. And you could see Joe Burrow's stats. He didn't even have 100 yards.
Right.
Didn't just 2 yards per pass. Jamar Chase only had 39 yards. And I mean, their second highest receiver was Joe Mixon with 17 yards. You're going to win the football game every single time. And I mean, you guys from defensively just outplayed them.
Right.
Offensively, kind of agree with everything you said. But here's the one thing I do have. When are you going to see that breakout game from Deshaun Watson? It's been how many games did he play last year?
This is his 7th game now for the Browns. He played 6 in last year, and this was his 7th.
I think he had maybe one good game last year. I think that was against the Commanders, I think he had a pretty good game that game. Yeah. But it wasn't anything where you're just like, whoa, this guy's getting paid $50 million, and he's not looking like the QB that we're used to seeing him being. And you're just wondering, like, will the Browns, once they play these good teams, Watson, he just can't play like this. And going forward, he's going to have to realize it's my team, and I'm going to have to take this team over as a $50 million QB, and the tables are going to have to turn out soon. Like, against the Steelers, I think this week especially, you're going up against a pretty good defense. Obviously, we don't have Cam Hayward, but I think it'll be a competitive game. But he's definitely going to have to be on his A game. Last time the Steelers played the Browns, Watson, he didn't do anything either. So I'm just wondering, the factor that I took away from this game, especially, was the biggest downfall for me, was when is Watson going to have that breakout game?
Yeah. No, I nicely put. I 100% agree. Mark, what did you think about the Browns game this weekend?
Let me tell you what, listening to you two just made me dumber for 5 minutes. Just hold on a second here. Hold on. First of all, I know we're recording. We're going public here. We're doing our thing on the podcast, right? Kudos. You got your win. Yada, yada, yada. All right. But look, you guys have a good problem to have. Like, every time I hear somebody, say, oh, I got a $46 million quarterback and, he's owed all this money. You got a good problem to have right now, right? You got probably a top 3 running back in the game that we just talked about last time. He should probably be involved more. And with him being involved more, with Deshaun Watson getting all these reps, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a fun offense, to watch if the game's managed. And I think you guys really showed that, okay, maybe you needed that defensive commander to command that defense. So, Stefanski could be like, hey, I got my guy over there. I can focus in and tune on this offense. And, he can work his mastery or whatever you want to call him. He's a whiz. And I think with you guys having a problem like Chubb back there, I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to get hit a lot. I think the offense could be unpredictable because, whenever he was in Houston, what was he slinging the ball? 50 times a game, 60 times a game or whatever. And we've seen that, through history with some quarterbacks, besides probably Tom Brady, it worked for him. But, I think you guys realistically, could give the ball to Chubb probably 25 times a game. And then who's the backup running back?
Ford.
Yeah, I think he could get the ball 15 times. You start running some different schemes. You don't know if they're running or if they're passing. So I think you guys have a good problem to have. And honestly, I think the only thing that comes with that price tag that you guys paid Watson, the only thing that matters is what? A championship. That's it. That's all that matters to it. That's just my opinion. Because, let's be real, that could be groundbreaking for record contracts for a lot of these guys to even get Super Bowl, or I'm sorry, guaranteed money is if they win a Super Bowl. And then the owners will be like, hey, if we give these guys guaranteed money, they're going to bring in all the extra revenue for Super Bowls. But look, I'll give you guys your props. The defense, man, I mean, gosh, I was impressed. Kudos, to you guys, whatever you done, doing a little killer crossover out there. But, let's be real, right? Week 4, week 5, bodies start breaking down, injuries start happening. Let's see how this team gels. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. I mean, I was highly impressed. So my hat goes out to Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. You guys deserved it.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, I was impressed by one thing I actually just seen. Jerome Ford had 15 carries to Nick Chubb's 18 carries.
Yeah, the balanced offense.
I don't know. That's a good thing, but I feel like Chubb should not get 3 more carries than Jerome Ford.
100%.
Look. I mean, just like we talked about in the last podcast, whenever you start bringing in those type of schemes, guess what happens? That defense starts moving up a little bit, and then bam, Amari Cooper's got one for 57 yards down the field. People Jones got one for 30. Njoku, who's 10 foot tall, hey, hit me, I'm wide open. These guys didn't guard me. You watch. I'm telling you, I like it.
Yeah, I like the summary, Mark, and I like the point that you added, Eric. Here's my thing about Watson before we start talking about the Steelers is I agree with you, Mark. I am pro winning. I'm pro winning a Super Bowl. However that looks. If it means I have to run the ball 40 times a game to win a Super Bowl, I will. But that's not the NFL now. And I agree with Eric. I saw somebody say the other day, we're finally going to be a team that can play defense and run the football. Mm-hmm. Well, then don't pay someone $50 million to do that then, if that's what you wanted to do. And you know how the NFL is nowadays. You're going to have to throw to win. You're going to have to rely on your quarterback to win you big games. Because guess what? The Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, they're going to want to get in a shootout. They're not going to get in a running game battle. So I agree with you. It's nice to rely on, a top 5 running back and what could be a top 10 defense this year. But you need to see more out of Watson if you want to really higher your ceiling, especially because of what the NFL looks like. And we're talking about Watson over this last 7 games is averaging 55% completion rate. Okay. The top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL average around 66 and a 67% QB rate. That's not very good. So my overall summary is defense played great. Watson has room to improve, and your ceiling is how good he can be this year. And the Nick Chubb thing is interesting, Eric. Nick Chubb had a 25-yard carry, and then the snap after gave it to Jerome Ford, and he fumbled. So that one made me want to, punch a wall. Yeah. But I agree with you. I always felt like Nick Chubb deserved more carries. I agree with Mark. What's stopping Nick Chubb from getting 30 carries a game, 25 a game? But again, if we have to do that to win, I will. But I just want to see more out of my quarterback, especially because of the way the league is looking. But I would love for Chubb to get workhorse. I'm okay if Ford gets 2 carries a game because Nick Chubb is that great. I mean, Nick Chubb averaged 6 yards a carry. Ford averaged 2. And Chubb only got 3 more carries. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even close. So, yeah, that's that. But, Eric, I was at your house when the Steelers crumble happened, and you got fired up. And it's funny, you and your dad have 2 different outlooks on this game. But, Eric, let me start with you. What happened on Sunday? What was the score, and what was the story?
So,
Hey,
I'm gonna
can you say the score for me, Eric? Please.
I'm gonna give you a score. So the final score of that game was the 49ers 30 and the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. A butt whooping. And you had myself shocked and you had my father shocked. It was from the first drive. I said to my dad, I said, getting the ball first, I hate it. Because this is what happens. And I seen a trend with this last year. Every single time the Steelers play a good team and they start off 3 and out, the rest of the game does not go well. And the first drive of the game, it was like a 1-yard carry, a incomplete pass, and then we got sacked. And then it was from that moment on, the 49ers scored in their first drive. Brandon Ayuk just cooked us all game. You could just tell the first defensive drive and the first offensive drive, the 49ers punched us straight in the mouth. And then from that point on, it was the rest of the game. We had no comeback. Our offense was just flat. We had like 4 3-and-outs to start the game. We had 1 yard before our 95-yard drive we put on at the end of the half. And it's just not going to cut you. It's just not going to win you games that way. Kenny Pickett was I'm going to be totally honest with you. I thought he was going to be good. I know it's first week. I thought he was going to have a decent game, but the man looked off. Missed some wide open throws. He missed Deontay Johnson on basically a touchdown. I think it was the second drive of the game. And then he missed Deontay Johnson on another touchdown on a slant. It was just it was just rough. And I've been seeing some clips that we were doing in the red zone. There's just the route schemes I do not like. I mean, there was a 4th down call that we had. There was a time where our guys on the 5-yard line just ran verts and there was just nobody open. And I just continue to see the same things that I seen last year with Matt Canada's offense. It's horrendous. It's terrible. The run game did not get established. The pass game didn't get established, and the defense just got tired and we lost that football game.
Yeah.
So, don't get me wrong. The 49ers are probably a top 5 team. So that's why I'm not fully worried yet. Now, if we lose on Monday, I'm certainly worried. So, I don't know. We'll see, but it just wasn't the best of games. It was terrible. It was rough.
Mark, what do you think about this, man?
So let's just be real. I'll just sum it up. I mean, that was a dumpster fire, right? I mean, that was just a dumpster fire. I think Kenny Pickett seen probably the same thing that Joe Burrow seen. He didn't have time to get his feet set. He didn't have time to, get established. I think the young pup, kind of panicked. That's just what we've seen. It seemed like, which play set the tone when you knew the game was over was when Fred Warner filled that hole within like 5 seconds and nobody touched him.
Yep.
And he lit up Najee Harris. And Najee's a big boy. And Fred Warner came through there just like a banshee and smoked him. And I thought, oh boy, we're in for a dogfight. And Pittsburgh wanted nothing to do with that dogfight, which is really, really odd to me. I got nothing. I really don't. Yes, I'm surprised. Yes. But, we talked about it when you was at my house on Sunday. They're battling in the trenches, man. And if you don't have that battle in the trenches, in the blocking and all that, you're going to get whooped. Burrow's seen it. Kenny Pickett seen it. I think Daniel Jones seen it. There was a lot of quarterbacks this week just, had the week 1 jitters. I don't think it has anything yet. I'll say it again. I don't think it has anything yet to do with Matt Canada. But Steeler Nation is really hard right now on that guy. And, without any offensive line help, how can you run a play, right? We've all watched god awful teams. Yeah, and the other thing that didn't happen was the traditional. Brock Purdy had all day to throw back there.
Right. Yeah, and that's what makes the Steelers great is the D-line play.
Yeah, I mean, we could not create any chaos to slow down Purdy. I mean, it was evident. I mean, Ayuk would just sit there, right, and he'd run his little 13-yard. I'm going to find the hole. Purdy had all day to, order a pizza, go to Primanti Brothers in Pittsburgh, hang out. Oh, there you are, Ayuk. Oh, there you go. I'm going to dump that off. So, yeah, I mean, it was a total dumpster fire. I'm still here. We're going to do our thing, but we'll talk about this coming night here, but an L's an L. I'll take it. Hopefully we can rebuild from it. Kind of go from there. That's all I got.
Yeah. No, very nice summary, Mark and Eric. Nicely put. My takeaways were Pickett getting sacked 5 times is crazy. And especially a O-line that Steelers fans were really optimistic about, and they just didn't show up on Sunday. My favorite summary is this. I don't think you need a great O-line. I don't think you need Eagles O-line. I don't think you need, the Browns O-line. But if you don't have a good one, I think the game's over. And I think we saw that on Sunday was the Steelers O-line was not good. And the 49ers D-line is phenomenal. And that's the story right there. I saw the throws, Eric. It was awful. Pickett did not look good on Sunday. He had 2 picks, only had 1 touchdown, 5 sacks. The leading receivers, Allen Robinson was 64. No disrespect, but that's just not good enough. And what I was trying to tell you is you were really fired up, and I get it. Okay. My point was the Niners are a top 5 team. Okay. Now we know the Steelers can't beat a top 5 team. Whatever. The Niners are going to be great. They could make the Super Bowl, but to get embarrassed at home week 1, leading up to that, the Steelers were optimistic about that game. I was kind of iffy on that game. I could see it going either way. And to get blown out, it stinks, but I don't think it's something to where you're constantly worried about it all week.
Let me sum up another. Let me just put this in words. Find this funny. Trent Williams, after the game, said something that cracked me up.
Yeah, I saw this quote. That was really bad.
This is horrendous. This is very, very embarrassing. He said he wanted the Pittsburgh Steelers to get a first down just so he could get a break. That's how bad our offense was. That's how bad our offense was. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And I saw too, what made Pickett so great last year was his situational throwing. He was like top 10 quarterback on 3rd and 4th down in the NFL. On Sunday, 14% passer rating on 3rd down for Kenny Pickett. And I think that's what makes teams great is how good are you in the red zone and how good are you situationally? And the Steelers did neither of those on Sunday.
We didn't win any part of the football game.
Yeah.
None of it. Only person that won the football game and that showed up was T.J. Watt with 3 sacks. Only person that showed up.
Yeah, and you lose Cam Hayward, you lose your left tackle, you lose your left guard. It's going to get interesting on Monday night, and we're going to talk about it in a couple minutes.
Fine.
But I really want to talk about a team. Really want to talk about a team. And I'm going to give you guys – I want to hear what you guys think, and I'm also going to give you guys a team that really surprised you week 1. My team that I thought had the most impressive win week 1 and a win that I just thought meant so much was the Los Angeles Rams. That game on Sunday. And Mark has done nothing but hate on the LA Rams this entire offseason. This is insane. So they blow out Seattle at their place, 30-13. Seattle had 3 yards in the second half. 3 yards.
Damn,
I am an NFL diehard. Besides Aaron Donald, I don't know who's on that defense until Sunday. I figured out names. This defense is starting, the entire team's starting 17 rookies. The defense is the majority of rookies. So that's what blew my mind. Some other crazy stats before I get on my real rant. Puka Nacua is a 5th-round wide receiver from BYU, had the most targets ever in a week 1 game in NFL history, has the most yards in a week 1 game since a guy named Jamar Chase. I don't know if you heard of him. And before Jamar Chase, it was 20 years before he had that. Somebody had that many receiving yards as Puka. And Tutu Atwell, their 4th round wideout that they drafted 2 years ago, Puka and Tutu Atwell combined for the most yards for receivers under 23 years old since 1968. Like, it was a complete masterclass from their wide receivers that you just figured out their name on Sunday. And Stafford threw for 334 yards, 24 completions, 91 QB rating, and that was the best I have seen him look in 2 years. I mean, that was the best I've seen him look since the Buccaneers game in the divisional round and the Super Bowl. That was the best I have seen him look. But here is my ultimate rant about this Rams team. All year, you said that this team was going to go 4-13, 5-12, 6-10. You cannot give these guys bulletin board material. Mark was especially a person that said they were going to tank. They were going to be really bad. But that was a very popular opinion. A lot of people in media said the Rams were going to tank. Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Sean McVay, and Cooper Kupp did not come back to tank. Breaking news, they did not come back to tank. We're talking about a core 4 of players that won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Not 5, not 10, 2 years ago. McVay was contemplating retirement. Donald was contemplating retirement. Stafford, how many years does he have left? This team was not going to come back and tank, and that's why it blew my mind that they were a 4. People are saying they're going to win 4 or 5 games. And listen, McVay's a top 5 coach, okay? This guy's a savant. This guy's a Super Bowl winner. He is very capable of making this team a competitor. And I'm going to say it right now. I think we saw a 8-9 win football team on Sunday with the Rams. I think we saw a playoff team with the Rams. And I'm telling you, these core 4 of players are too good to fail. Cooper Kupp's a Triple Crown winner. Matthew Stafford threw for 40 touchdowns and 4,000 yards 2 years ago. Aaron Donald's a Defensive Player of the Year player, and Sean McVay's a top 5 coach. They didn't come to lose. They did not come to lose. They did not come to tank. So I was completely blown away by the Rams. I was stunned. They're going to be a lot more competitive than people think. That showed on Sunday. I don't know if you guys caught that game, but what do you think?
Go ahead, Eric.
You can go.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yep.
Listen, I mean, I'll be the first one to sit here and say, you know, publicly, my boy Eli and all that. Yeah, I hate the Rams on paper. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. You know, when you look at a fun stat from that game, you knew that offense was clicking whenever Bobby Wagner, Bobby Wagner was all over the field for Seattle. He's the leading tackler right now in the NFL. That's how much he's running around trying to make plays. So that means they got no pressure. That means the Rams were moving the ball. I don't know. I like I said, everybody says, "Oh, Sean McVay was contemplating retirement." Bull crap. That was Amazon trying to throw dollars at him. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, that's hard to walk away from. But I'll give them their props this week. Let's see how long Stafford holds up. Right? I mean, he's an old quarterback. Guy can play. He does tend to get banged up. I mean, if you look at their offensive line last year and how much Stafford got beat, maybe they did get better. I don't know. It's week 1. Week 1 was weird. I'm still going with it. I still think the Rams are going to end up in last place. There's too much film, too much data out there for these guys to succeed. I mean, these guys, everybody's going to be watching the film now going, okay, what do we got to do? So I'll let you guys have that. That's all. I'm going to focus on the Rams. They're not worth my time. So go ahead.
Wow. Eric, what did you think about the Rams game week 1?
I'm not going to talk about their season, but I will say I think they're going to be bad this year. But that game was pretty darn impressive. Because a lot of people were high on this Seattle team, especially with the options that they got, just the defense that they've added, just the pieces that they've added. I mean, nobody had the Rams winning that game, especially in that fashion. I mean, nobody would have guessed that. But just the way the Rams set the tone from start to finish, it was night and day. Stafford was not missing throws. There was times where he was making no look passes. And like you said, we haven't seen Stafford play this good since the year that they won the ring.
Right.
And I think you could tell the reason I still think the reason why he played a good game is because that offensive line. We need to give that offensive line some credit. I think that was the biggest factor for me. That line played a great game. Their running game was great. They were just manhandling their defensive front. Kyron Williams had 2 rushing touchdowns. And you could just tell Stafford was just comfortable. And I don't really know about this Rams team. I don't know if that was a fluke game, but I was really impressed by him.
Listen, that's a great summary, Eric. Mark, I know it's week 1. Eric. But I think that win meant a lot. It really did. I mean, O-line was questionable all offseason, allowed 0 sacks. Seattle, everybody's high on. They dominated at their place on Sunday. Who's the Rams wide receivers? Oh, never mind. They're going to break records week 1. Like, that was my thing was I think that meant more than just a week 1 game. And it was a really important game for their season. If you could start off 1-0, you know, you go play the Niners. Who knows what that game looks like? But I think
yes, you just said it. Yes, that meant a lot for their season. I will give y'all that. You hit that right on their head. No, seriously, like that was a big win. But let's be real. I mean, there was a lot of people that's high on Seattle as an underdog, like I am, to maybe win that division. But let's be real. We all know the Niners are the daddy, then probably Seattle, then somewhere you throw in the Rams, and then you throw in here.
Right.
I mean, that game there was probably 2 third-place teams in that division.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Week 1, you don't want to hold your hat on it too much. Because I think it doesn't really matter in retrospect of a lot of things. But for a team like the Rams, where who are you guys this year? It was just, I think, really good for them to show, okay, we're going to be competitive.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to finish up at the end of the season. You know what I think, but you guys, I think we're going to be competitive.
Yeah.
But Eric and Mark, was there a game week 1 that you thought really stuck out and what you thought was a really impressive win for said team?
No, I'll go on this one. I mean, Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Cowboys,
really shocking.
Time. I understand it was the whole weather, but who cares, right? You're there for the fans. You're there to, come out, especially after them going on that run. They made it out of the first round, the playoffs, and they had all the momentum. It was at home. It was at MetLife, and then you get smacked in the mouth. Like your quarterback just got paid. You franchise, you worked out a little small deal with your running back. I was shocked. I mean, shocked. I think I was probably more shocked by that game than I was the Steelers game. And I'm not even a Giants fan. I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I was shocked. And I think I'm still in disbelief. I mean, that one there, hands down, I'm still shocked about that one. I mean, if there's a team that probably should be looking themselves in the mirror right now, it is the New York Football Giants. I mean, they came out and they looked like the team from, whenever they lost Odell and they were on the downhole, they were just going down, and then finally they had to say, Eli, I'm benching you. That was that team. I am truly shocked, and I really hope they bounce back because I think it's good for football if the Giants are competitive, for this year for the NFC, because we want to see them competing with the Cowboys. We want them to be competing with the Eagles, be competing with those top teams because of what they did. Everybody had them probably a wild card team this year, or maybe second place division. I myself, on a long shot, I think after I watched last year, I think they could have won the division, and nothing I seen, says that they're going to do anything. And everybody's like, oh, the weather, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You're in freaking New York. It could be raining one day. It could be snowing one day. It could be sunny one day. It could be, whatever one day. There's no excuses. None whatsoever. I think that one there, in my opinion, I was just like, all right, I guess it's week one. Sure. And see what happens. So that's my take.
I completely agree. It's funny. To cope your son down and to try to settle him down, we reference other teams that got blown out week one that went on to be great. The Packers got blown out week one by the Saints one year, and Rodgers went on to win MVP. Matt Ryan got blown out one year, week one. He went on to win MVP. Patriots got blown out. There's a history of good teams getting blown out week one. But that one felt a little different. That one was really bad. That was also probably the worst loss I have seen in recent memory out of everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, the game was legitimately over 5 minutes in. I mean, it went return block, field goal for a touchdown. And then Saquon gets lit up and, unfortunate accident, it went right into the Cowboys cornerback's hand and he catches it. I mean, not only was that the biggest beatdown I've seen, but that was the worst O-line play I've seen in recent memory.
Oh, that was horrendous.
And it literally felt like with the Giants offense, it was either a sack or it was going to be a turnover.
Yeah, I agree.
2 picks for Jones. I don't think the Saquon one was his fault. 7 sacks. Hodgins fumbled. It was like Hyatt. It was awful. It was really bad. It was the worst game I've seen in a long time.
It's almost like the Giants showed up like, they had that cockiness and that air to them. Like, yeah, we're in New York. This is our place. And we're just going to come out and run the boys out. Well, I think they forgot, the Cowboys, they do have Dan Quinn up there as their defensive coordinator. And that guy's pretty freaking good at what he does.
Yeah. Did you just see that emoji that popped up on your screen?
Yeah.
That would be in the video. That was pretty cool. But
I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
What was it? Okay, I don't even know what
like
that
a
was.
little check mark. I don't know.
That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah. So hey, I guess if that's a team that needs to get punched in the mouth, to kind of realize, okay, we're coming back down to earth. To me, I mean, the New York Giants, I was shocked. So yeah.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, what were some of your quick takeaways from that game?
I'm going to make this quick because I want to get to one of my games, but I was flabbergasted by that Giants game. I mean, I had no words. It reminded me like the Pittsburgh game, but 4 times worse. Like the same butt whooping, but the Giants, it was like after that, they had a really good opening drive. They got down to the 10-yard line. And then I think there was a flag and then a botch snap and then the block kick happened. And then from that point on, they had nothing. They had nothing. I'm sorry. And it was embarrassing. Like I was lost. And I'm not going to blame Daniel Jones. I mean, he couldn't have done anything. The offensive line played poor. Evan Neal, I'm sorry, but he might be turning into a bust.
Yeah, he played really bad on Sunday. Really, really
He
bad.
hasn't had – last season, he was rated one of the worst tackles. And I think – I mean, it was almost like there was times in that game where it just didn't even look like he was putting in any effort in.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Daniel Jones had nowhere to throw. I mean, he didn't have time to even look. And
it was
the Giants' defense, I mean,
they
didn't do anything either. Like it was basically, I mean, it was just a beatdown.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they got out physical on your home turf on prime time Sunday night, and it was one of the worst games I've ever watched in my entire life. Truly. Eric, what's your game this week that you thought was very interesting?
Interesting. We were just talking about the Giants because I'm going to go with the team that plays on their field. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. I was really impressed with their defense. Right now, if I had to rank defenses by the week one, their defense is by far number one. I watched the whole game, and they were making Josh Allen look silly. Jordan Whitehead had 3 interceptions. And, like, it was just – and, from Rodgers getting hurt, out for the season, that's
Very
sucks.
sad. Yeah, it's
Very,
heartbreaking.
very, very tough. But it was just like – and I just love the way that they use that as motivation and just kind of, like, just moved on and then really, like, just locked up Josh Allen for the rest of the game. And nothing really had changed. I mean, Josh Allen really had no answer. But I do not know from this point on for the rest of the season if the Jets are going to be good because I'm not Zach Wilson. He's not that good. But I just think for me, their defense, the way they stepped up and won that game, it was just impressive.
Yeah, real quick, the air went out of that stadium when Rodgers went down. I mean, it was incredible. It was incredibly sad, honestly, how the air just completely left the stadium and it just went dead silent. And I thought it was really great that the Jets ended up winning that game.
Yep.
Yeah, like what you said with Whitehead, I think Josh Allen sent Whitehead to the Pro Bowl on Monday night.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, dead serious. I think he made him a lot of money. $250,000. That's how much he made him in incentives on Monday night.
Free pick for year.
Yeah. It's incredible. But you're right. That Jets defense is great. Breece Hall looks great off of that ACL injury. But I totally agree with you. I was just kind of stunned how they came back the next day and this week they're saying, yeah, Zach Wilson's our guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we're gonna do this all over again, huh?
Yeah, it's just we're gonna say this and then what's gonna happen.
And I think it's awful because I think you have so much talent on that defense. Your running backs look great. Garrett Wilson's could be a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and you're just gonna kind of roll with Wilson. So great win for them. I was stunned. Josh Allen sees ghosts against them all the time. Josh Allen in his last 19 professional football games has 39 turnovers. And you could thank the Jets for 3 of them. So, Mark, what did you think about that game on Monday?
I mean, honestly, I think it was great football. What happened, right? Come back, blah, blah, blah. I won't even touch the Aaron Rodgers thing. So, but what I would like to see come out of this, honestly, I'm all about player development and all that. So, they picked up Zach Wilson, what was that, a couple years in that first round? And that was supposed to be their guy. So I guess what I'm going to watch is Zach Wilson as a player. I want to see how much he learned all summer from Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I hopefully he took that all in and he's going to work on that and hopefully that'll help his development. I think everybody in New York wants to see Aaron Rodgers there. I mean, of course, the New York Jets do because all the money that they're going to pay him next year on the backside of that contract. But with that great defense that they have, maybe Zach Wilson can do something, with it, and hopefully he can take something from Aaron Rodgers with that defense that they got, and maybe he can feel like a winner. Because all them years that Mark Sanchez was there, and then they got Zach Wilson. That team was trash. They were trash. They were just bad. I think they're in a better spot. I think Zach Wilson's had a good mentor, so that's why I'm going to look at the Jets. And looking at the lines, that Vegas had out there, I mean, even with Aaron Rodgers starting, I think the Jets were still getting 2.5. So I mean, if you look at the outcome, what was the final score of that game?
22-16.
Okay, is a 6-point game with Zach Wilson on the field 95% of the time. So maybe that team is that good. With Aaron Rodgers, it might have put them over, but maybe they're a good team. But as history showed, as Ben just talked about, what we've seen from Josh Allen, I mean, there's no other person that needs to figure out something and look themselves in the mirror and go, okay, how can I stop making these mistakes? Because if he's going to have those kind of turnovers, Miami's going to run him out of the building. Jets are going to run him out of the building, and Belichick will squeak one win out of him. So we'll see.
Yeah, interesting. I totally agree about your top 2. Did Rodgers help Wilson enough this offseason to say, Okay, you're gonna have to make this team a playoff team, and Allen looks completely different once Dable left, and it's just been completely different for him as a player.
Yep.
I think that's an episode in itself if Allen continues to play like this. Real quick, I want to do a little maybe Browns Steelers preview on Monday night, and then maybe get into some week 2 picks before we wrap up this episode. So, Browns Steelers on Monday night, prime time. I will be at the Peterson household for this one. I will say this. I'll give my 3 things Browns need to do and the things that the Steelers need to do. Browns defense has to show up like it did on Sunday if you have any chance to beat this team. And I agree with Eric, like he said earlier. They're going to have to – Tom's going to make Watson win this game. He's not going to let Nick Chubb beat them. He's not going to let the run game beat them. He's going to make Deshaun Watson win this game. Can he win that game? But – if you can start 2-0, the Browns have not started off 2-0 since 1993. At the Steelers' place on Monday night, it's a really, really, really good win. So that defense has to show up. Watson has to be there. The Steelers are 20-0 on Monday Night Football when they're at home. I believe that's a real stat. That's an insane stat. But teams the week after playing the Niners last year were 0-16. So something's getting debunked. So, but yeah, those are my things. I expect the Steelers to come out playing hard. They just got punched in the mouth. They want the redemption. That's kind of like my little quick, breakdown. What do you guys think about this game on Monday night?
You mean go first, Dad?
Yeah, what do you think, Eric?
All right, so I'm gonna go break down the ways just for my team to win this football game. I feel like this game you're really gonna have to shut down Chubb. And I said this last game with the 49ers. I said you're gonna have to compete with the 49ers to stop or not stop McCaffrey, but contain him. Because he's still gonna get that break. He's still gonna get that couple good runs. But in the past games with Pittsburgh, we've seen them contain Chubb and then force their quarterback to beat us, which hasn't happened in the past with Baker and Watson. And I feel like that's just the biggest key for me. And then I feel like once the defense gets those stops, the offense is just going to have to wake up. The run game is the second biggest factor for me. You're going to have to get Najee and Jalen Warren going. And then I feel like if that happens, Kenny Pickett will win this game and Pittsburgh will win the game.
Yeah.
If not, I'll make my early prediction right now. I said on Sunday the Browns will beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. I don't like that. I don't really like that. That makes me feel gross. I want some cocky arrogance about the Steelers. Mark, what do you think? Monday night tease, and who do you think wins this one?
All right. Well, man, this is tough here. So we have to be able to stop your defense.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the defense. Like our offensive line has to learn how to block. So Kenny Pickett can stay poised and make plays. And, we're going to have to keep our offense on the field because, we're a little banged up right now. I mean, our big hole in the middle, Cam Hayward, is going to be out. I mean, he's the guy that, kind of shuts everything down. So, here comes my wife. She just has to come in here and shut all the windows. She can't wait till I'm done. So anyways, you'll probably have to edit that out. But anyways, you couldn't wait. So anyways, yeah, we'll have to edit that. I'm sorry. I got totally distracted. I mean, if our offensive line does not block, then, it's going to be Myles Garrett's going to be out there doing a crossover, 360 spin, probably jumping from the foul line, having his way. I still think, though, we are a Tomlin team. I still think we bounce back. There's nothing more than being cockier than being on primetime. Pittsburgh Steelers, we're at the helm. We always find ways to bounce back. I think Pittsburgh is going to cover the spread, 17-13 Pittsburgh.
Wow. Oh, very good. Very good. Interesting. Listen, this is the most confident I've been going into a Steelers game, truly. I mean, after a great week 1 win and a horrible week 1 loss for the Steelers, and our defense is playing great, The Steelers are banged up too. No Cam Hayward, no left tackle, no left guard, no Deontay Johnson.
I heard Firemouth too.
Let me put one thing.
Wow.
We will have a healthy offensive line and Firemouth, but no Deontay Johnson and Cameron.
No, I heard Firemouth's out.
Nope. He's
wow. Well, that's an interesting something to monitor. I thought the Steelers O-line was hurt. Are they going to be able to play on Sunday?
Well, they're questionable, but there's one guy, which I'm kind of hoping he's out, our right tackle, because then our first round pick will get the start. So I'm hoping if he's hurt, if he's out, it's not the worst thing in the world because then we'll get to see our rookie play.
Right. Yeah.
So, but they said what?
What side does he play?
Roger?
Yeah.
Left.
He's
right?
usually left tackle.
Yeah.
But
So,
he's been playing both.
If you're Schwartz, who are you probably gonna have line up over him?
I think it's
I'd
no
put him
doubt,
on
right?
Dan Moore's side. I put him at Dan Moore's side.
I don't know. Make that. I don't know. Garrett making. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm the most confident I've been going into a Steelers game. I got Browns 24-13.
Nice.
I'm confident. I really am. This is the most confident I've been in a long time.
Love it.
But real quick, to wrap up this episode real quick, we're going to go each game this week, and I want to hear a win and loss. Okay. All right. Starting off tonight, Vikings-Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles. Minnesota has not won a road Thursday night game in 45 years. Very interesting. All right, here we go. Now on to Sunday. Bears-Bucks. I got Bucks.
Bucks.
Packers-Falcons in Atlanta. I got Packers.
I got Falcons.
Pack.
Yeah, Jordan Love looked great. I'm interested to see that one. Colts-Texans. It's a wash. I got Colts. In Houston.
I'm going to go
Colts.
Seahawks-Lions in Detroit. I got Detroit starting off 2-0.
I'll go with the Lions.
Nice. Chargers-Titans in Tennessee. I got Chargers in this one after losing the game they should have won.
Chargers by a mile.
Yeah, Chargers. Yeah.
Baltimore-Cincy. Divisional game in Cincy. I got Cincy for this one. They just got punched. I think they get a comeback win.
You know what? Cincy starts off slow every year, and I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Cincy by $1 billion. I hate Baltimore.
I like that. I agree. Baltimore's probably my least favorite team in the division. That's for another episode.
Yeah.
Raiders-Bills in Buffalo. Bills are 8.5-point favorites. I got Bills. I got them blowing them out.
I got Bills.
Yeah. KC-Jags at 1:00. I think I'll be watching that one since the Browns aren't playing. That's a toss-up. I got KC, though. I got them.
I got Chiefs.
I got Chiefs. Kelsey's going to come back, and that one defense guy is back.
Chris Jones, yeah.
Yeah, Chris.
This was a big week for them. Yeah.
I think KC by a touchdown.
Right. Niners, Rams. I think I got Niners, sadly. You know who I'm rooting for the Rams, but I got Niners.
Niners.
Niners by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Giants, Cardinals in Arizona. I got Giants.
I got Giants in a bounce back win.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Not as confident as I was in this game before the year started, though. I will say that. You know, this one, you're kind of going in, clenching your teeth a little bit. Jets Cowboys 425 game. The game got a lot less interesting without Rodgers. I got Cowboys in this one. What are we doing?
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Okay, all right.
Just because how good the defense played with the Jets, that was a little bit hard. But
I'll go with the Cowboys, and there's a good chance Zach Wilson gets hurt, and then maybe they'll call Ben Wheeler out of retirement to be their quarterback.
Right. I'm cool with
that.
Hey,
I actually did hear something actually funny. Big Ben is actually an option for the New York Jets.
Wow.
Yeah, it says in the Bible, once you retire as Steeler, you don't.
Yeah,
so,
right.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Funny.
Yeah. Commanders, Broncos. I got Broncos bounce back after a bad loss to the Raiders.
Snooze
that
fest.
Feels like a toss-up.
Snooze fest, but I'll go Broncos.
Yeah. Dolphins, Patriots. I got Dolphins in this one.
Dolphins.
Pats.
Oh, interesting. And then to wrap this up, Saints Panthers on Monday night. We won't be watching that one. I got Panthers in this one.
I got Saints.
Really? I got Saints.
Interesting. Very good. And we'll see how well these age over the weekend. But that was another episode of the White Lightning Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Wheeler. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mark. I will see you on Monday night.
Yes.
Let's showdown, man.
I'm hoping my team wins, man.
Go Browns, man. Go Browns.
Do it.
Say something, Mark. Say something. I see you up there.
I'm not allowed to cuss. All right, see ya.
Hey, have a good night, everybody. That was episode 19 of the White Lightning Podcast. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Share this to you and your friends. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Have a good night, everybody.